3.1 is ratios. We're going to start off with a key idea. I am on page 108 in our big green, and I'm just going to kind of go through the lesson, and this is how the videos will go. So you write down everything I write down. If I'm going too fast, just hit pause, and that way you can kind of keep up as you go. Here we go. All right, our key idea is just simply ratios, and I'm going to write out the definition right now. You can pause it after I write it out, and then write it down, and I'll kind of go over it. A ratio is a comparison of two quantities. So ratios can be part to part to whole, or whole to part comparisons. Here are a few examples. All right, so the examples look like this. We got 2 cats to 6 dogs. 1 cat for every 3 dogs. 3 dogs per 1 cat. 3 dogs for each cat. 3 dogs out of every 4 pets. Or 2 cats out of 8 pets. So as you can see, there's a lot of different ways that you can say and write this. Looking at our cats over here, there's 2 cats. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dogs. So if you see how they do this, we've got 2 cats to 6 dogs. That means 2 cats to every 6 dogs. If you look at it over here, we got 1 cat for every 3 dogs. Here's 1 cat, 1, 2, 3 dogs. And you'll notice there's 3 dogs still left and a cat. That means our ratio is 1 to 3. And we'll kind of talk more about that. But those are kind of how some of them are written out. Algebraically, it looks like this. The ratio of A to B can be written as A to B. So one thing to kind of keep in mind is that this little sign right here, which is a colon in our ELA program, if we're like doing editing and things like that, but it's our ratio symbol in math. So it's just the 2 dots. Example 1 is writing ratios. All right, so example 1 with writing ratios. We're going to use the picture over here to the left, and it's got pennies, dimes, quarters. I don't think there's any nickels. Okay. And it says you have the coins shown. Part A says to write the ratio of pennies to quarters. So the first thing that we do is we figure out how many we have of each. So we have to understand that we're only finding pennies and we're only finding quarters. So the dimes in here, they don't really count. So I'm just going to use my marker here, and I'm just going to kind of mark them off. And I'll do this one in red, and I'll do the next one in different colors so that we see that we're marking off. So I got 1 penny, 2 pennies, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'm just going to write my 6 right below where I have pennies for now. Then I have quarters. So I got to figure out how many quarters I have. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to write my 7 over here. Now, a couple different things you can think about is I can use this and write 2 if I want to, but I can also write my colon, which is my ratio symbol. So the answer to this would be 6 to 7. And this time we're going to do, we're going to write the ratio of quarters to dimes. I'll do this one in blue. So quarters to dimes. And again, if you get behind, just pause it, write it down, and then hit play again. So quarters, we already know. We can look back up at our other one. We have 7, but I'm just going to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 quarters. I'm going to put in my 2 symbols. And how many dimes do I have? I have 1, 2, and 3. To 3 dimes. So my answer would just be 7 to 3. Let's do one more. All right, when we get a situation like this, part C says to write the ratio of dimes to the total number of coins. So the 2 comparisons that we're doing, one is dimes and one is just the coins in general. So because it's a generalized statement like that, now we have to just count up all the coins. We already know from before that there were 3 dimes. So now we have to go from 3 dimes to how many coins? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So then we know that we have 16 coins. So my answer is 3 to 16. Now the other thing to keep in mind is, notice how I didn't put the coins first. This is our coins, and these are our dimes. I put what was said in the sentence first, and then what was said in the sentence second. And then you can kind of go back and look at those examples from earlier. All right, let's do the try it using the same picture. You don't have to, copy these quarters and stuff down again if you did in the other picture. That's probably good enough. The example's not super hard. So let's do these. There's 2 of them. Once you get your answer, or once you write it down, then get your answer, hit pause because I'll show it right away. All right, these are the 2 questions. Once you write them down, pause it, figure them out, and then unpause it for the answer. Here are the answers. You can write these either way. We are going to get in the habit of trying to get them this way as we finish them up, but either way would be acceptable. All right, on to the next section of 3.1. So the number A over B associated with the ratio A to B is called the value of the ratio. It describes the multiplicative relationship between the quantities in a ratio. Let me better help you understand this with example 2, writing and interpreting ratios. So the ratio of rubies to diamonds on a ring is 1 to 2. The question would ask us, find and interpret the value of a ratio. Little pop-out box over here. I just wanted to mention, the word interpret simply means to explain the meaning of something. So don't get kind of nervous when you see that word. What does that mean? It just means to explain it. The value of the ratio is 1 to 2. It's said right here for us. We don't have to do any work on that. When we talk about, and we go back up here and we look at the value of the ratio, because it's 1 to 2, that just simply means it's 1 over 2. It's like a fraction. So the multiplicative relationship is this 1/2. Remember, our whole point and what we're trying to figure out is find and interpret the value of the ratio. Here's the value. It's 1/2. Interpreting it just simply means the number of rubies is 1/2 times the number of diamonds. So that's just, it's kind of confusing, but if you kind of see how this is set up, I know it's a lot of writing, but it's worth trying to figure out how we interpret that. Interpreting it is this part right here. Finding the value is making it into that fraction. All right, let's try B. This one's a little bit more complex to think about, but kind of the same idea. On another ring, the number of rubies is 4 times the number of diamonds. Write the ratio of rubies to diamonds. So we're coming up with a ratio, but we don't know the number. So a good way to look at this is, we'll use red for rubies, and then we'll use, I'll use black for diamonds. So if I just took and I made 4, okay, here's 4 rubies. And then I took, and I know that it's 4 times, the rubies are 4 times the number of diamonds, and I have a diamond, I would just simply have 1 diamond because there's 4 times the amount. And so all that means is it would be a 4 to 1 ratio. And if you look at that as a fraction we just kind of talked about, it would still come out to 4 times. So that's how it you can kind of make sense of it. And we're going to stop there for the first video. And you can go ahead and make sure you have all the notes down. And if you need to go back over anything before you do the practice, you're welcome to do so.